The Flash star Ezra Miller faces felony burglary charge for stealing alcohol from unoccupied Vermont home. Oh no! If only someone could have seen this coming. Yeah. Well, anyway, the Vermont State Police released a press release on this case. At approximately 5:55 p.m., the Vermont State Police was notified of a burglary complaint at residence belonging to victim Isaac B. Winokur on County Road in the town of Stamford, Vermont. The initial findings indicated that several bottles of alcohol were taken from within the residence while the homeowners were not present. As a result of an investigation that included surveillance videos, I guess they had to slow them down, because get it. And statements, probable cause was found to charge Ezra M. Miller with the offense of felony burglary in an unoccupied dwelling. So there you go. They did find Miller. So he's finally been found. He was located on August 7th at approximately 11:23 p.m. and issued a citation to appear in Vermont Superior Court, Bennington Criminal Division on September 26th at 8:15 a.m. for arraignment on the burglary charge. Huh. I didn't know Predator shows up in The Flash. So, they confirmed that, yes, it's Ezra. So now he's got this burglary rap on him, on top of all the other crap, choking a woman, being, threatening to other people, storming into their place in Hawaii and all that stuff. Getting arrested for that and what have you. And then the worst of it all, being really, really disturbing and weird around underage girls. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Hopefully there's not a scene like that in the film. Anyway, that has to be the worst. The latest story is that he runs a little cult. Yeah. It's kind of like that story about Charles Manson, way back when he wanted to be a musician and even auditioned for the Monkees TV show. And briefly became friends with one of the Beach Boys, and they actually recorded one of his songs and stuff. Imagine if that had worked out. So, in this case, Ezra, he got the gig, He still made his cult. Yeah. So, all of that, this isn't his fault. That was Joss Whedon's fault. And that's not Gal Gadot, no. So anyway, and then this ex-girlfriend all mad at him because he misgendered her and stuff. And that's one of the things, he seems to prey on these people that are obsessed with the sexual confusion of being fluid and all that stuff. And they got to have their pronouns or they'll lose their poop. And he apparently called her a girl, and she didn't like that. So that was the main problem there. But all this stuff is piling up. And this might be where he ends up. And, that's bad news for the film, of course. Yet, despite all of this, as confirmed by company CEO David Zaslav during their recent Q2 2022 earnings report, The Flash, which was reportedly has already finished production, is still on pace for a June 23rd, 2023 release. Well, its production has been finished for quite a while. It was originally supposed to come out this year, and that got bumped. I wonder why. To do what? Well, there might be somebody else under this mask by then. Don't know for sure. By all accounts of the screen test, people like it. Unlike Batgirl, there was a lot of negatives on it, except for, I guess, Brendan Fraser's performance. Brendan Fraser's performance. People liked him. But that's about it. Whereas with The Flash, even Ezra Miller, they gave him high marks, saying he does a good job in this. In the overall story and the plot they found fascinating and all that type of stuff. And that just adds another layer of sadness to all of this, that it comes to this, because I never liked the guy in the role. When I saw the Snyder Cut version of Justice League, he does much better in it, and that's just in the means that it's not really his fault either in the other version of it, that they just kept adding in all the stupid jokes, and it just made him even more annoying than he ordinarily would be. And it's much toned down. He's still the idiot, goofy guy that's supposed to be funny. Most of the time he isn't, but it was tolerable. It worked. It was fine. And so this may even be better than that in this film, but the guy's got problems. If a burglary charge is the worst of it, then he's probably in not that bad a shape. He does his community service. He actually does get some help for mental disorder and drug abuse, I suspect, probably exacerbating whatever the mental problem is. And get some help with that. And it could have a comeback story. As far as being the Flash, I don't know. Because one of the other elements that came out of this, but all the really disturbing stuff with young girls and everything, takes a lot of attention. But one of the accounts was that he had difficulty even understanding what he was doing on the set. So that kind of stuff is really disturbing. He may be at a point that there is no way for him to come back if the mental degradation is such a state that he may not be able to function as an actor, going forward. It's almost akin to, because the descriptions are very similar to what happened to Bruce Willis, and that's that form of aphasia that he's going through. I don't know if that's really in connection with forms of dementia or whatnot, but of course, Ezra is much younger. But a mental collapse can happen, and there's people that they completely drop out of society. They cannot function in it. And for whatever the reasons, and of any drug abuse in conjunction with that, just, of course, again, exacerbates it to the point that he may have done serious damage to himself without even realizing it. And, can't be saved, if you will. But as for the film, it's probably the aspect of it being good is one of the reasons. It's like, damn it. Plus the money that's already been poured into it. But the delay is somewhat significant. If it gets delayed even more, is like obviously there's some amount of reshoots going on, and with Michael Keaton's involvement in the new DCEU has been greatly diminished. Batgirl's gone. He's been taken out of Aquaman 2. Ben Affleck is back for that. It had already been discussed that there was a possible end to Ben Affleck's Batman with this film, and it's already been leaked that now there's this ending scene where it reveals he's still alive and exists in another universe, because this whole movie is about exploring the multiverse and that sort of thing. And that was one way. It may be they reshoot it even more where he goes back to his normal universe. Everything's intact. Maybe even Henry Cavill shows up, which they desperately need. And they shoot it like that. But to reshoot it with a new actor, of course, would be enormously expensive and all that. So they still want the multiverse story. They still want it to be something of a reset, restarting it as they go forward from it. It's just a matter of what. Introducing Michael Keaton into it, I would think, would be to spin off into a Batman Beyond film. And if their 10-year plan involves getting to a Crisis on Infinite Earth type storyline, provided Michael Keaton's up for it, or the Batman Beyond character becomes the Batman that crosses over into something like that. That could be a thing that they could build to for that purpose. Because of the idea of the shared universe, but once you've established it's the shared multiverse, you could still have your side films here and there that could come together at some point. I don't think they would have Joaquin Phoenix Joker walking around with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill and that sort of thing. But certainly a Batman Beyond, and maybe the Matt Reeves Batman could at least show up in it and something like that, just for that purpose. But anyway, that's something they could lead to, and that they want it for that reason. but primarily, I'm sure, is just the investment into it, the deal with someone like Keaton and wanting to make good with him, and all of that. But it just, hopefully this is the worst of it, and a lot of the other stuff, the very disturbing stuff, turns out to be perhaps a bit exaggerated, and it wasn't quite to that level. Hopefully that's the truth of it. But either way, I think, yeah, he's done as the Flash, but still might just release it with him in it, you know. And they still have, it's just they shuffle the deck chairs to reach and then take another shot at DCEU in a new form than where it was originally going to go with this reset and all that. But it's still, that in and of itself doesn't resolve their Ezra problem. Again, it was always suggested that, well, you know, they could hire a new actor, but he just appears at the end where all the new universe changes happen and his face changes. It's like he's Doctor Who, you know. It's a new guy in the mask. And yeah, they could do that, you know. But the situation's all very sad, and that's unfortunate. But they found him, and now he's charged with this theft, which you would think he could have just gone to the store and bought some. But again, mental disorder. He's not thinking right, you know. And it's unfortunate, which is why I think this is far more serious. And the idea of him just doing a stint in rehab or something, it's not going to be enough to solve the problems troubling him. Especially those accounts of him being completely incoherent and lost on the set and not even knowing why he's there and that type of thing. That's some pretty serious symptoms there. So, there we go. Another unfortunate incident in the saga of Ezra Miller.